welcome to King's Crossing, the second saga. This is Under the Table. We just wrapped up episode 4 of their current campaign. We're going to dive into Under the Table, where we break down the campaign as a whole, do Q&A, basically anything goes. We could talk about whatever, and I won't give away spoilers, but I'll do my best to answer any and all questions, and I might have questions that I'm going to ask them. So I'm going to open it up to the table. Anything about this session or the campaign as a whole you guys want to discuss? That's like itching at the edge of your mind.
Front of your mind.
And chat, let me real quick. We are live streaming this, so if you're watching this on YouTube, these are live stream on twitch.tv/theofficialwrath. We have a live chat. Chat, if you guys have any questions or anything you guys want to interject, now's the perfect time to do that. We're going to engage with you guys, and we all get to have fun with it. So, table's open.
Go.
I had a blast. That was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
That
was a good one. Yep.
Even though you guys failed many rules.
There was, oh my god, it's a sea of red in the right-hand side of my screen right now.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, right now you can even see, yeah. Which is crazy, because you guys have, I mean, there's somewhere, it's like you guys have like a 75% chance to succeed, and you still failed it, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, first off, I love Bjoern.
Really?
I think he's a great character. I don't know, I can relate to him, and like I feel like you're playing him well, and
Thank you.
I'm enjoying meeting him, and I'm intrigued by his character.
So Bjoern was actually a character that the first saga group was supposed to meet, and they actively avoided all my plot hooks to like go towards him. I don't want to give too much away, but this is stuff I can. They found the trap and the blood trail where he found this creature and dragged it to his cave. So that creature you found, he found that on their path that they took and brought it here.
Okay. Yeah.
And so they could have followed that to find him. But at that point they were running away from a giant sneaky silent dragon that was just led east from you guys, because in their campaign it's headed towards them, and they're going to be encountering that after, because technically they're in the future currently. So at the time that this is happening, you guys encountered it. Now it's going over to them, and on their second day, because you guys are going into your second day, on their second day they encountered it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's kind of how that happened, and they didn't follow that hook to meet Bjoern because they were running away from a dragon. You guys ran away from a dragon and then went and met Bjoern. So that's just kind of how it worked out. So Bjoern was a character that I'd written for them. They didn't find him. You guys did.
Yeah, I like his character a lot. It's cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
It feels like it's connecting a lot of other plot parts to us, with like the corruption, and I'm excited to like figure out what's going on with that.
Yeah, he has some answers because he's from an area where basically, what you guys can tell, things originated.
Right.
Yep.
And so he's like, he has some answers, and like the dragon used to be different, and he was like, it left, but apparently it didn't make it. It got corrupted and it's a part of this land now or something.
Here, I'm gonna give you the notes I took. I took a lot of notes this time.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you like Bjoern. Basically, right before we went into this episode, Tough Nuts tried to already kick it off, and he was like, "This was my favorite episode by far." I was like, "Nope, stop! Don't say anymore. We're going into Under the Table. I want to know." So this was your favorite episode, huh?
So far,
you've had 4. What exactly about it? Was it just Bjoern in that, or
I liked that. So it felt diverse, because we started with like kind of minor combat, but escaped it quickly. I felt like I got to do a lot with my character, like make some ghillie suits and like inspect things and try to help with alchemy, and like there was a lot that I felt like I was trying to contribute. And I feel like Adam and I, like, our characters kind of level set and got on the same page more, which was good. And it felt like just good pacing. Like, I feel like we got a lot done, and all of it was really interesting to me.
Do you remember last episode? you guys went through combat and you're like, I feel like we're going slow, and I was like, I bet you that's gonna change.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Remember,
Yeah,
I was like,
this-
I
this
feel like
one-
next episode you guys are gonna get through a lot.
Yep.
Yeah, this one, the pacing was fun for me because I feel like we accomplished a lot, but it was still a lot of detail.
Good,
Mhm.
absolutely. I'm glad. How did Adarag feel? Adarag, you narrowly avoided knocking yourself unconscious.
Narrowly avoided shooting myself.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Man, a critical fail at 100. That's
Yeah, that's our first
that's
100 crit fail.
that's pretty. Yeah. That's the story of Adarag's life right now.
Yeah, you guys had you had that. You had some crit successes. And you guys were kind of all over the board because there was a point where you guys had nothing but fails just covering our board, and then we went on break. We came back from break, and then it was just nothing but successes covering the board. And I was like, pick one. It was crazy. So yeah, you guys had the let me talk about the combat at the beginning. So the dragon thing,
Sure.
I had it written obviously basic. Unless you guys got lucky and you did some crazy stuff, come up with some crazy contraptions. That wasn't a fight you're gonna win. I mean, this is a giant dragon that's ancient and like blah blah blah, right?
Nope.
I didn't want to fight it.
I had a feeling you guys wouldn't. I was like, they don't seem like the type who's gonna be like, let's do it. Like, so I was like, they're gonna go stealth. Their stealth's probably the route they're gonna go. So I had a system of stealth checks that was gonna get easier and easier. If you guys went stealth and just tried to like hide and let the dragon pass over and like not find you guys, it was gonna get easier and easier because of the smell from the flower that was growing, like getting out, right?
Okay.
Except then Gnimwirt crit failed.
Yep.
And that's where it was like, got you. So I had it written in that at the very least, obviously I'm not going to, like I started this whole campaign off with, I'm not going to actively try and kill your characters. So yeah, you crit failed. Yeah, the dragon's on top of you. That thing is going to kill you. I was like, worst case scenario, you guys have found an ally in Dibs.
Mhm.
I can use Dibs to save you guys. And so, you guys don't know the fate of Dibs. Dibs has run off. The dragon's on him.
Yep.
So basically, you guys, and like Tough Nuts, I believe, said last time, he doesn't know the intentions of Dibs. He didn't know what his goals were and what his character was going for. And you still don't. But for some reason, Dibs found it in him that it was worthwhile to lure the dragon away from you two. We may or may not know why in the future. You might learn when you find his corpse. You might learn when you find him alive. You might never learn if you never go that route or whatever, But that happened. So that's kind of the way I had it written. I don't know. I didn't even expect a crit fail. Like for some reason I didn't write that in. Like I was like, okay, they either go this route or they don't go this route. And I had it worked one way or the other. And then you guys crit failed and I was like, oh, well, you're fucked. What do I guess Dibs is diving in. Like my safety net.
Yes.
So that's basically how that went. That was funny. So you guys survived a dragon. That's kind of cool.
We could say we survived. Yeah.
I'm curious. You guys know you just tied up that kobold and left him, right?
We tied up the twig blight and left him.
Right. Yes, not Dibs. You didn't tie up Dibs. Yes, the twig blight. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, I guess I forgot about that from last session.
Oh, okay. I was like, I just figured you guys were like, yeah, we're moving on. But you guys are headed back that way, as far as I know. So maybe you guys won't stumble across a twig blight. Hey, let me out,
Guys. Not funny anymore.
So yeah, you guys had that going on. You guys encountered the statue. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Adarag found that. Yeah.
I wish Adarag was a little more perceptive.
Really? Why is that?
Well, I mean, there was. He was able to find the grove area. The rolls just didn't go my way, but that's to be expected. But that was interesting that there was the ash tree there. Now that I think about it, that's probably a more. I would have to think like. In the moment, I think Adarag was thinking about the dagger, but that's the only thing that he saw at the time. Maybe if he was thinking more of the ashwood, because I know that from the interaction that he had with the priestess of Inebria, he knows
Dylan.
that there's that mug that was made from the Ashenwood tree. So maybe, yeah. So he wasn't thinking too much about that at the moment. He was a little defeated at the time.
True.
But after almost shooting himself,
yeah, things on his mind. Tough nuts. Any thoughts on that scene?
Yeah, part of me is hoping we can return to it eventually.
Mhm.
I wouldn't see why
I'd like
not.
to.
And
Yeah,
that's up
I
to
have
you guys.
ideas.
Go ahead. Yeah,
I have ideas.
you were saying you had a lot of ideas about the rune, about ways to make money. Like you have all kinds of
Not
stuff.
necessarily about the rune, but Adarag's character was clearly like wanting the dagger so he could sell something in town.
Mhm.
And my character, which I think maybe I won't reveal yet because I think it's a fun surprise. He does have some ideas on like maybe studying, like just make a way to make money in the town, which I think Adarag will be interested in too.
Okay, we'll leave it a surprise. Chad, it's not just you. I get to be surprised too, so that'll be fun. So you're hoping you can come back to that spot. Why?
Because the Ashen Tree. I mean, if we learn more about like how we think the dragon did that or something, maybe we can learn more. But I think the Ashen Tree, since they're so rare, I'm sure that would be useful, like to have some of that material for something
Yeah.
with my crafts.
And also, I mean, it's tied in with the Fae, so that might have something to do with the Needler creature that they were talking about, because he did mention like it was some sort of like tainted spirit or something like that. Is that what I should have gathered from that?
But
Sounds like something you could gather.
oh, I wrote it down somewhere. It's in my notes.
Okay. Yeah, so and then you guys met Bjoern.
Mhm.
I feel like that was kind of the big moment of this episode. You guys seem to like that. I was so surprised that not only did he sneak up on Gnimwirt, he also found him. I was like, I didn't see that happening, but the dice rolls, man. I was like, all right. It's on stream. Stream can see my rolls, so I wasn't lying. It was there.
I wasn't rolling bad there either. I was succeeding. He just beat me.
He just succeeded by more, which was surprising. And I was like, oh. Because you were succeeding, but only by like 1 or 2. And I was like, he succeeded by like 20 on his first, and then by like 2 or something on his second. So, but yeah, you guys met Bjoern, and he had some answers for you. I had a little bit of information that he could give, but he also has a hard time sharing because he doesn't speak your language, and so he's like trying to translate, and not everything comes off well. But you guys got some information from it. I noticed like I saw Tough Nuts asking something and he wasn't answering it to the like as best, and I could see Tough Nuts like, okay. I was like, yeah, he didn't answer that the way you wanted. I could tell.
Yeah, well, I mean, you ask you the questions. One thing that my character is thinking, I think I'm recognizing after this day of adventure, because it's only been 1 day. When we set out initially on like our first session or second session, I was trying to communicate to Adarag like, hey, I've got these plans for something.
Yes, I remember this, yes.
and I couldn't communicate that to him. And I think now more than ever, I'm realizing I need to pursue this if we're going to have a chance in these like situations. So I think that's going to be a higher priority for him to start like really focusing on that.
Yeah, that was probably one of, out of the whole campaign, that's probably one of my favorite moments where you're like, hey, let me write this note and like show you these schematics, and Adarag's like, yeah, I can't read. Like that's just one of my favorite moments, and you're like, oh. It's just so comedic. You're like, here, and like all like technical and these diagrams, and he goes, yeah,
No clue.
That's one of my favorite moments. I will admit, I really like Bjoern. I liked the way because I mean, you can put everything down and write everything out, but when he actually comes to play time, like I never know how it's gonna go. Like I think what was it, Dibs? I had a certain way, and when I started playing him, I was like, this isn't really what I had intended, but this is him now. Like, all right.
I think you said the same thing about Elder Arlane as well.
Elder Arlane was one where he Elder Arlane was probably a better example than Dibs, because Dibs is pretty close to what I wanted. Elder Arlane he's a character, man. And like
I feel like we need to change his picture.
Oh, that's right. I was gonna do that. I wanted to go back to the original one. You're right. I did mention that.
He looks a little grumpy.
I need to do that. Because yeah, we were gonna go back to the original picture. Where is he? Elder Arlane. Yeah, I need to. Because originally, this image that I have for this character for Elder Arlane, he was gonna be a different character, but I couldn't find a good image for Elder Arlane besides the one I sent you guys, and so I changed it and used this picture. But now I want to use the original picture. So we'll get that changed. I was supposed to change that. I forgot. Any other thoughts on the campaign as a whole, or this episode, or any episode?
Well, I really am enjoying the world. It does feel very dark and perilous. And I think you've done a good job of like giving the detail of kind of laying it out as this kind of misty, dark, encroaching upon the light sort of aspect. Just through just details and some of the interactions and the way that because it's admittedly it's pretty difficult with it being like theater of the mind and all that to kind of get some of those details across, but I think you're doing a good job of laying it out for us.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I agree.
Appreciate that. All right, well, unless there's anything else, chat didn't have anything for us today, so that's gonna wrap up Under the Table,
I guess.
Thank you guys for showing up, making this a game. Obviously, I mean, I can write and DM as much as I want, but if players don't want to show up, there's no games. So I appreciate you guys somehow keep coming back. Next week we have Mother's Day on Sunday. You guys should be good for Tuesday.
Should be.
All right, we'll be back next week with episode 5. I will say, I was thinking about this earlier. I think you guys have 2 more episodes. I want to say it's going to be 2 or 3. I think it's 2, and then you guys will be wrapping up like this section of the adventure.
Gotcha.
And then I'll leave it up to you guys. We can either take a break at that point or move directly into the next adventure section. And the reason for that is the first saga, that group, is going to be starting back up again. So what we'll do is either you guys can take a break and we'll do the same thing we did for this one, where they're going to go and then you guys can follow and there'll be like some time fuckery, right? Because they'll be in the future, but you guys will be happening at the same time. Same thing we did for this one.
Yeah.
Or you guys will literally be going at the same time. Does that make sense?
My thought on that, I'd be fine with doing it at the same time, but one thing I'm noticing is committing to Monday, Tuesday, and another night for Baldur's Gate is proving to be a challenge for me, personally. So I'm wondering if maybe if we did take a break, we'd use Tuesday night for us to power through a bunch of Baldur's Gate to get a bunch of episodes ready and stuff, and then go back to D&D, so it's just 2 nights a week.
Oh, I see what you're talking about. Take a break, power through some Baldur's Gate, and then basically use Tuesday as Baldur's Gate, D&D, Baldur's Gate, D&D.
Right. Like, yeah, in our off season of D&D, we do Baldur's Gate instead. That way it's a little bit less of a commitment every week, because it's being a challenge for me to do 3 days.
So.
Yeah, okay. So I see what you mean. So not alternating, but like during the break period while the other group is going and doing their campaign, instead of us playing a campaign on Tuesdays, we just do Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, and then we'll come back to D&D, and that way we don't have to juggle both those commitments at the same time.
Yeah.
You keep on speaking of this D&D. I do not know what you speak of.
Yes,
this is Zweihander.
All right. You know,
I get what you're talking about. Okay, cool. Yeah. So we'll plan for that. So you guys will have potentially I'd say plan on 2 more episodes. Is what I'm thinking.
Okay. Do we need to are we trying to accomplish something huge by that time, or? I mean,
what do you mean?
Like,
Oh, like
Oh.
should your characters be rushing towards something to get it done?
yeah,
Nope.
like
Carry on doing what you're doing.
Question.
okay.
I'll wrap us like as much as you guys think this is open world, I'm very much pushing you places. So it might not be seen, but you guys will get to a point within the next 2 episodes that things will happen, whether you like it or not. Like, because that's where I have to wrap you guys up, and I'm hopefully a decent enough DM to where I'm going to end at a good point. Right?
Yep.
So just plan on that. But no, you guys are doing perfect. Like.
Yeah, because that was when you said that was my question. I was like, are we going to go to the top of the mountain?
Yeah, you guys are going to make
sections.
it all the way to the top of the mountain, find the cure within 2 episodes. No. So the way this happened is basically when I was originally, I know we're over, but when I originally wrote this whole adventure, it went a lot slower than I thought. So say I wrote this whole adventure and basically the first group got through like this much of it. And I was like, oh, I still have like this much of this adventure left for you guys to get through. So basically, this whole adventure could be its own campaign. Gotcha. It's gonna take. It could take 3 adventures to get through this adventure, if that makes sense. I'm thinking it'll take 2. That's kind of the plan. So we'll see. But so now with you guys going through it as the second group. I'm only planning on you guys getting through this much of this adventure. So when I'm like top of the mountain, cure, all this stuff, like that's big game picture.
That's way down there. Okay.
Yeah. So don't feel like you need to get to the top. I mean, your guys' plan is to get Izzy home, right?
Yeah.
So focus on that goal. Like,
I think we're still trying to find Mateo and help Griff too. But yeah.
So focus on that goal. You guys have your goals. Think of it as long-term goals, short-term goals. Yes, finding the cure to chaos is a goal, but something you can accomplish now is getting Izzy home.
Yep.
Yeah. So find out next time if they can get Izzy home or if they get eaten by a dragon. That's it for Under the Table, guys. That's it. Thank you to players. Thank you to chat. You guys are chatting up a lot. I know I couldn't get to everything. I was hoping you guys would bring some of that energy to Under the Table, maybe next week. If you guys are watching on YouTube, drop in the comments. If you guys have thoughts on the episode, if you have questions, drop them in the comments and we can get to them next week when we come together and discuss all this. But that's it from us. Look for some more Baldur's Gate 3 posted on the channel coming soon. And Drinks and Discussions just launched a new episode that will drop on Saturday, this upcoming Saturday. This drops before that, which is weird. But anyways, check all those things out on the channel. And we'll see you all in the next one. Later!
Peace.